Dear students, welcome to our channel Online Class with Hema. In this video, we are going to see about the 2-mark questions, that is part A question and answers for the subject Environmental Science and Sustainability GE 3451. So in this session we are going to see about this. First we are going to see for unit 1, environment and biodiversity. First question, define environment. So we are going to define about the environment. Environment is defined as the sum of total of all the living and non-living things around us influencing one another. So it's the sum of total of all the living and non-living things, both living and non-living things around us influencing one another. So this is what environment. Next, second one, define environmental science. Environmental science is the study of environment. Study of environment is called environment science, that includes both biotic and abiotic components and their interrelationship. Third question, what are the important components of environment? Abiotic or non-living component, biotic or living component, energy component. So these three things are the important component of environment. Fourth question, state the significance and scope of environmental education. So first we are going to see about the significance. Significance is this environmental studies inform the people about their effective role in protecting the environment. That is, this environment studies inform the people about the protection of the environment in changes in laws and enforcement systems. Okay. Second one is develop a concern and respect for the environment. So it develops and concern and respects the environment. So this is this is the second point for significance. Next we are going to see about the scope of environment. Okay, third point in significance is it includes the environmental studies have a direct relation to the quality of life we live. So it has the direct relation in the quality of life we live. So this is the third point in significance. Now we are going to see about scope. Scope is to get an awareness and sensitivity. This is the first point. And second point is to motivate the active participation in environment protection and improvement. So first one is it gives awareness and sensitivity about the environment. Second one is to motivate the active participation in environmental protection and improvement. Next, fifth question, explain biosphere. So biosphere it is the part of lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere in which living organisms live and interact with one another is called biosphere. So it is the part of lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere in which living organisms both live and they interact with one another is called biosphere. Next, functions of lithosphere. It is the home for human beings and wildlife. It is the home for human beings and wildlife. Then its storehouse. It is the storehouse of minerals and organic matters. Okay, storehouse of minerals and organic matters. First point is home for our living beings as well as the wildlife. Second one is storehouse of minerals and organic matters. Then seventh question, ascertain the need of public awareness on environmental aspects. So we have to write the need of public awareness on the environmental aspects. So first point is it lesser the waste of natural resources. So this natural resources can be lessened, can be reduced, the wastage of the natural resources. This is the first point. Second point is public can act as watchdog to protect the interest of, so to protect the environmental activities. So we can act, the public can act as a watchdog to see whether it is protected or whether it has been wasted. So this is how. And then third point is educating the public. We are showing the awareness and so on. Then fourth point, educating the public. Fourth one is strengthen the environmental campaign. So we have to strengthen the environment. Next, eighth question, mention the various types of public participation. So how this public participation, public can participate in protecting the environment. First one, as a pressure group. So we have to create a group that is called pressure group. So next is watchdog. So in last question we have seen, so public should act as a watchdog. So watchdog. Next, advisory counseling. Next, enforcing the environmental laws. So these are the 4 various types of public participation. The 9th question, environmental awareness is need of the hour comment. So the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we consume, and the land we live on are contaminated by the industrial activities. So the air, industries are polluting the air pollution. So air we breathe, water from industries we get wastewater, food we consume, and the land we live are all contaminated by industrial. All these are contaminated by what? Industrial activities. There is no zero pollution industry. That is, there is no industry without any pollution. That is what? No zero pollution industry. Because of lack of self-discipline. These are all the things which are getting because of lack of self-discipline and not worrying about the future generation. The valuable resources are polluted. To solve the above problems, need of environmental awareness is very important. So environmental awareness is very much important to solve the above problems. So next is, so what are the main objectives of environmental awareness? By environmental awareness, people will understand the concept of need of development without destruction of environment. So the first major point, the main objective is need of development without destruction of environment. So this is the foremost point. Second one is, through this environmental awareness, people can gain the knowledge of different types of environment and the effects of different environmental hazards. So by this environmental awareness, people can gain the knowledge about different types of environment and the effects of different environmental hazards. Okay, next third point we can write like have a direct relation to the quality of life we live. So by this environmental awareness, we have the quality of life we live. Next, develops a concern and respect for the environment. So we have the concern and respect for the environment. So these are the 4 points we can write for part A. So need of development without destruction of environment, knowledge of different types of environment and effects of different environmental hazards. Third point, the quality of life we live, and then concern and respect for the environment. These are the 4 points. Next, what is ecology? Ecology is the study of interaction among organisms or what? Group of organisms with their environment. The environment consists of with their environment. So what? Organisms and group of organisms with environment. The environment consists of both biotic components and abiotic components. Biotic is living organism, abiotic is non-living organism. Next, 12th question, explain the concept of ecosystem. So group of organisms interacting among themselves and with the environment, that is group of organisms interacting among themselves and environment is called ecosystem, as we saw in the last question. So thus an environment is a community of different species interacting with one another and with other non-living environment, exchanging energy and matter. So it is what? The ecosystem is a community, okay, of different species interacting with one another. Like one species interacts with one non-living environment, exchanging their energy and matter. So this is what the concept of ecosystem. Next, components of ecosystem, biotic and abiotic. Biotic is living, abiotic is non-living. Next, how are biotic components grouped? How these biotic components are being grouped? First one, the members of biotic components are producers, consumers, decomposers. They are grouped into 3 groups based on how do they get their food. So they are grouped based on how do they get their food. Okay, so three groups, that is 3 components: producer, consumer and decomposers. Then what are abiotic components of an ecosystem? The abiotic components are physical components, that is inorganic and organic substances found in the soil and atmosphere. In addition to minerals, the occurrence of litter is characteristic features of major of forest. So it is the physical components which includes inorganic and organic substances found in the soil and atmosphere. Okay, so in addition to minerals, the occurrence of litter is characteristic. So because of this litter is the soil pollution. So litter is a characteristic feature of majority of forests. Okay, next, how does a biome differs from an ecosystem? How does this biome differs from ecosystem? The kind of organisms which can live in a particular ecosystem based on the physical and metabolic adaptation of environment of that place. On Earth, there are many sets of ecosystem which are exposed to some same climatic condition and have dominant species with similar life cycle, climatic adaptations, and physical structure. This set of ecosystem is called a biome. The biome which has the dominant species like similar to life cycle, climatic adaptation, physical structure. This set of ecosystem is called biome. Thus, the biome is a small ecosystem within an ecosystem. So, biome is a small ecosystem within an ecosystem. Okay. Next, what are autotrophic and heterotrophic components of ecosystem? Give examples. So autotrophic are the members of autotrophic components are producers, which are autotrophs. Producers are known as autotrophs, that is self-nourishing organisms. They make their own food. They derive energy from sunlight, make organic compounds from inorganic substances. So this is what autotrophic. What is that? Producers, which are autotrophs, self-nourishing organisms. They derive energy from sunlight and make organic components from inorganic. Example, green plants, algae, bacteria, etc. Second one, heterotrophic components. So the members of heterotrophic components are consumers and decomposers. So these consumers and decomposers, which are called as the heterotrophs, depend on others for food. So they depend on others for food. So they consume the autotrophs. Okay, then the flow of energy is one way and continuous in an ecosystem justified. The flow of energy is one way and continuous in an ecosystem justified. Okay, solar energy. So which the solar energy, that is sun, which is the major role which plays in photosynthesis, right? So solar energy is transformed to chemical energy in photosynthesis. In photosynthesis process by the plants, this is the most essential step to provide energy for all living organisms in the ecosystem. So this is the most essential step to provide energy for all living organisms. Some amount of chemical energy is used by plants for their growth. Some amount of chemical energy is used by plants for their growth and remaining is transferred to consumers by process of eating. Okay, so in photosynthesis, CO2 and water is converted into carbohydrate. This CO2 plus water, that is, you can see a equation, CO2 plus water, that is carbon plus water. It gives it is formed into CH2O. Once carbohydrate, this is carbohydrate plus oxygen plus hydrogen. Okay, this is what it forms during the photosynthesis. Thus, the process of entering energy from one tropic level to another tropic level is irreversible. That is one way. So, it is irreversible. Next, define primary production and secondary production. Primary production defined as conversion of radiant energy into organic substances by photosynthesis. This is what primary production. What conversion of radiant energy into organic substances is primary production. Secondary production is defined as distribution of energy in form of food and consumer stored by the consumer. So it's a distribution of energy form of food to the others, that is consumer, is called secondary production. Next, give flow chart on energy flow in an ecosystem. So flow chart for energy flow is given here. From sun, the sunlight is being absorbed by the plants through photosynthesis and heat is being released here and here. So plants, then from plants heat is being released and animals are eating the plants are being eaten by the animals, and then bacteria. After decomposing, the animals becomes bacteria. So this is the energy flow of the ecosystem. What is meant by energy flow in the ecosystem? Energy flow is the movement of energy through an ecosystem. That is, it is the movement of energy in the ecosystem from external environment through a series of organisms and back into the external environment. From external environment it comes series of organisms and external environment. See, from sun, plant, animal and bacteria. So again from bacteria it goes to sun, plant, animal and bacteria. So this is what the energy flow. Next, what is ecological succession? The progressive replacement of continuous replacement of one community by another till the development of stable community in a particular area. This is what ecological succession. The progressive replacement of one community by another till the development of stable community in a particular area is called ecological succession. Types: we have primary succession, secondary succession. In primary we have hydroseed, xeroseed. Next, define ecological succession and mention its types. Again the same question. Okay, next, distinguish between primary succession and secondary succession. So it is the initial development, it is the re-establishment of the ecosystem. This is poor in nutrition, this is rich in nutrition, it has unfavorable survival condition, it has favorable survival condition, and so on. So this is what the thing we are going to write in this primary and secondary succession. First is initial development, that is re-establishment. This is poor in nutrition, that is rich in nutrition, unfavorable survival condition, favorable survival condition. Next, define the terms producer, consumer, and decomposers. Producers synthesize their food themselves. It is called producers. Consumers, which cannot prepare their own food and depend directly or indirectly on producers. Decomposers are which feed on dead organisms, plants, or animals. Okay. What is the role of decomposers? They decompose to the dead organisms, plants and animals into simpler compounds. That is, they decompose the dead organisms into simpler compounds like inorganic nutrients. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity is defined as the variety and variability among all groups of living organisms and the ecosystem in which they occur is called biodiversity. The variety and variability among all living organisms and the ecosystem in which they occur. Then significance. It is very important to human life, protects fresh air, clean water, and productive land. It is also important for forestry, fisheries, agriculture. Then loss of biodiversity as serious economic and social cost for any country. So these are the 4 points we are going to write. Why biodiversity important? Biodiversity is very important for human life as we depend on as we are depending on plants, microorganisms, earth's animal for our food. So biodiversity plays a very important role. Protects fresh air, clean water, and productive land. Then it is important for forestry, for fisheries, and agriculture. The both significance and importance both are same. Okay, so next is the loss of biodiversity as serious economic social cost for any country. So this is what. Then classification of biodiversity. It has 3 class types, that is genetic, species, community, or ecosystem diversity. What is point richness? It refers to number of species that can be found at single point, that is number of species, many number of species at a single point in a given space is called point richness. At a point which organism is being maximum, that is called point richness. Okay, then what is mean by genetic diversity? Genetic diversity is a diversity within species. Species diversity is, okay, this is about genetic diversity. It is within species. Species diversity is diversity between different species. That is within species. This is diversity between different species. Sum of varieties of all living organisms at the species level is called species diversity. Okay, next, define ecosystem diversity. Ecological level, which is being diversified, is called diversity. Ecosystem diversity. Diversity at ecological or habitat level is called ecosystem diversity. Differentiate between genetic diversity and species diversity. Genetic is a trait of species. It is about community, number of genes and their alleles found in organism, number and distribution of species is found. Next, adaptability and distribution of a species in diverse habitat. It influences biotic inference and stability. Next, what are biodiversity hotspots? The hotspots are which possess high endemic species. The hotspots where in the geographic areas where it presents high endemic species is called hotspots. Okay, next, India is a mega diversity nation. Explain or account. So India is one among 12 mega. Among 12 mega diversity countries, India is the first foremost thing, and it has 89,450 animal species, 7.31% of global fauna species, and 47,000 plant species, which accounts for 10.8% of the world floral species. The loss of biodiversity or endemum is about 33%. So what? India is among the 12 mega diversity countries. It has 89,450 animal species, accounting for 7.31% global fauna, then 47,000 plant species, which accounts for 10.8%, and the loss of biodiversity or endemum is about 33%. Next, What are the criteria for recognizing hotspots? The richness of endemic species is the first and foremost point, the main criteria for identifying the hotspot. Second point is the hotspot which have significant percentage of specialized species. Third point is the site is under threat. The fourth point is important gene pools it should contain. Okay, then two important biodiversity hotspots are Eastern Himalayas and Western Ghats. Eastern Himalayas and Western Ghats are the two spots of hotspots. Then what are the hotspots of diversity? So same, these areas, the most remarkable and threatened areas, many of them have reduced to less than 10% of original vegetation is called hotspots of biodiversity. Or else we can write the hotspots are geographic areas which possess high endemic species. Next, 39. Explain threatened or endemic and endangered species. So what is meant by threatened species, endemic and endangered species? Species is said to be endangered when its number has been reduced to critical level. Number has been reduced to critical level, then it is called endangered. Then the species which are found only in particular region is called endemic species. The number which has been reduced to critical level is endangered. The particular only found in particular region is called endemic. Vulnerable species. A species is said to be vulnerable when its population is facing continuous decline to habitat destruction or overexploitation. So it is said to be vulnerable when its population is facing continuous decline to habitat destruction and overexploitation. Example, we can say as hippopotamus, giant panda, giant tortoise, great white shark. Next, causes for endangerment of species is, first one is pollution, overexploitation, poaching and climate change. So these are the four things for endangerment of species. Then 42, what do you understand by the term flora and fauna? Flora is plants present in particular region, or period. Fauna is animals present in particular region or period. Okay, 43. Give few examples for endangered and endemic species of India. So endangered species are reptiles, mammals, primates, plants. So these are the endangered species. Endemic species are flora and fauna. Name any two extant species of India. So two extinct species, dinosaurs, as we all know, dinosaurs are not present here. Now then dodo bird, the northern Sumatran rhinoceros, Dank's giant square. Okay, next 45. Mention two invasive species. Invasive species are non-native species which cause economic or environmental harm or harm to human health. So these are the invasive species. Example, Asian carp, zebra mussel, can toad. 48th question. List out the effect of habitat loss on biodiversity. So what are the effect of habitat loss are deforestation, destruction of wetlands, habitat fragmentation, production of drugs, development activities. So these are the effect of habitat loss on biodiversity. Next. What are the major causes for man-wildlife conflicts? First one is shrinking of forest cover, that is shrinkage of forest cover, human encroachment into the forest area, then lying electrical wiring around the crop field. Next, what is the need of biodiversity conservation? It provides immediate benefit to the society. Next, it also preserves the genetic diversity of plants. And animals also. Then ensures sustainable utilization, life supporting system on earth. Next, what are in situ exitive conservation? In situ is it involves protection of flora and fauna within its natural habitat. Exitive it's protection of flora and fauna outside the natural habitat. Next, what are the advantages and disadvantages of exitive? Advantages is survival of endangered species is increasing. So these are this is one of the advantage which survival of endangered species is increasing due to special care and attention. Next, in captive breeding, animals are assured food, water. So animals are provided with food, water, shelter, and so on, security, and hence longer lifespan. So endangered species will be safeguarded because they have been assured food. They have been given the assured food, water, and shelter. Next, it is carried out in cases of endangered species which do not have chances of survival. So it is being taken care over the endangered species. Next, disadvantages: it is expensive method, freedom of wildlife is lost, and animals cannot survive in natural environment. Next, 53 difference between a in situ and ex situ. So conservation of species within its own habitat, outside habitat, very cheap and convenient, expensive method. Examples are biosphere reserves, national parks, sanctuaries, gene sanctuary. Example: botanical gardens, seed banks, museums, microbial culture collection. Okay, next 54. What is biogeography? It is the study of distribution of species, that is biology, and partially geography and temporarily history. That is, it gives the study of distribution of species, biology, about some about biology, some about geography, and some about history. So this is what the biogeography aims to reveal: where organisms live, at what abundance, and why they are found or not found in a certain geographical area. So for what reason? Next, last one, highlight the issues happened in sanctuaries, the poaching of wildlife. So first one is bulb. Bulb is used to prepare lamp oils and lubricating oils. Second one is baleen, which is used to prepare combs and similar articles. Third one is elephant feet is used for making ashtrays. Fourth one, elephant to kill the ivory. Fifth one, Bengal trees, tigers for their fur and bone. Sixth one is bushmeat. So you can write any four, that is elephant feet, elephant, baleen, and bulbula. So you can write it. That's all, and in the next video we'll see about the 2 marks for the second unit. Thank you. If you're first time to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe.